They called him Waffles, an old golden retriever with cloudy eyes and a limp in his step. He didn't bark. He didn't whine. He just waited every day behind the cold steel bars of kennel number 9. He waited for someone who would never come back. His owner was gone, and with every passing week, the shelter staff lowered their expectations. They wrote him off as just another unadoptable senior. Until she walked in. The shelter was a chaotic place. Kids screaming, dogs yapping, families laughing. It was adoption day, and no one even glanced at the old dog curled up in a corner. His name was Waffles. He was 12 years old. His fur had grayed. His back leg stiffened from arthritis. And his heart, well, that had been broken a long time ago. He had once belonged to a kind man who read books aloud at night, who fed him bacon on Sundays. But after the ambulance came, no one returned for Waffles. Just a neighbor dropping off his leash and a note. Can't take him. Too old. Sorry. Days turned to weeks. And still, Waffles waited at the door. 3 miles away, in a sun-faded house, Evelyn Barrett was losing herself in the silence. She was 68, a retired teacher, and a widow of 9 months. Her days were filled with hollow rituals. Breakfast for one, washing teacups, talking to framed photographs. Her kids called sometimes, but she always ended the call with the same lie. I'm doing fine. But she wasn't. Not really. Her therapist had suggested getting out more. Try volunteering, they said, or adopt a pet. She laughed at the time. But one rainy Tuesday, something in her heart tugged her toward the shelter. Evelyn didn't know what she was looking for. The puppies were loud. The young dog were playful. But none of them spoke to her grief. Then she saw him. Waffles. Still, silent, staring right through her. She crouched down slowly, resting her aching knees on the cold floor. And for the first time in weeks, Waffles moved. A single tail thump. Not excitement. Just recognition. She came back the next day. And the day after that, by day 4, she brought warm chicken broth. Waffles licked her hand. Just once. And that was all she needed. She signed the papers. And the shelter staff looked stunned. You sure you want him? One asked. He's not got long. Evelyn smiled. Neither do I. Maybe we can walk each other home. Evelyn named the guest room Waffle Suite. But most nights, he slept beside her bed, his nose brushing the hem of her blanket. He didn't run. He didn't play fetch. But he followed her room to room, as if afraid she might disappear too. And Evelyn, she began to live again. She cooked for 2, read aloud during thunderstorms, started humming again, and smiled at her reflection for the first time in months. They became a quiet spectacle in the neighborhood. The old woman and her slower-than-ever golden retriever, side by side. Always, winter came softly. Waffles began sleeping more. Stairs became harder. The walks became shorter. But Evelyn never left his side. She whispered to him at night, "It's okay if you need to go. You did your job. You brought me back." One morning, just before sunrise, Waffles rested his head in her lap. She sang softly, something from her childhood, and as the first light crept through the window, his breathing slowed, then stopped. One last tail thump, like a quiet thank you. Waffles was buried under the cherry tree in Evelyn's backyard, wrapped in her husband's old flannel shirt. She still talks to him, still keeps his bowl in the kitchen. But now, her silence feels full, not empty. She volunteers at the shelter every week. She reads to the dogs no one else notices. And when someone stops by the last kennel in the back, she smiles and says, "That's Waffles' Corner. That's where miracles happen." Some souls find each other when the world has forgotten them. Some stories don't begin with a spark, but with shared pain, and end with peace. To the old ones, to second chances, to Waffles, and the woman who finally saw him.